That's
All
an
right.
audio spark. The audio. That's just got crazy.
We just broke it.
Well, hello everybody. You can finally see our horrendous faces.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Raw Podcast. It's going to be a good one. Today we're going to dive into Andrew's heartbreaking story of his
Battle with cancer.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
As we drink alcohol to
You
celebrate.
see, it's hard because we've made fun of him so many times for it.
Yes.
And again, we're friends. Don't
Yeah.
don't fucking hate me, Jesus Christ.
Fine.
But,
It's fine.
yeah,
Well,
we're
you're
going to get
sorry.
into that today. Roll that intro music. Right,
Cool.
we're back. How are you fellas doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
Good.
Not doing too bad.
Really glad that everything is all up and running now.
Yeah.
So we're
this is
here.
the
Yeah.
First time we've got a brand new setup.
Yeah. Hopefully
New
nothing.
mics, new interface, camera, lights, the whole shebang. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
a really nice setup.
Hopefully nothing fucks up. Really
Yeah.
be bad if it fucked up.
Hopefully.
Again, it's our first try. Be nice. But no, it's weird being on a podcast with you guys because I have to pretend when we're on camera that I haven't asked you anything all day. So, so I was like,
we just sat
so
down and met each other.
what you gonna have for breakfast yesterday, dude? You know how you doing? You know. So no, but the advantage of doing this now, we have a little setup. I actually have my questions listed out. We have topics to talk about today, and
Very professional.
we actually have a reference source of Google for in case you know. Bro, it's like, did you hear that? What was her
Yeah,
name?
we never know. We just start speaking like
Can't
utter
check
shit.
because we're
I'm pretty
we're
sure
using-
we've been to Mars before. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? So
we can never check because we're using one phone to record the podcast, and the other two phones are probably dead.
Exactly. Like this phone that's about to die. We won't even be able to check the recording then. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, well thought.
So we'll just have to trust us.
Carl with the
people
brains
are
behind
picking
the
up my ice
operation.
chewing in the audio.
Nice.
So first question I want to ask y'all before we get into serious shit. We purposely didn't ask this on our last one because we're waiting for Andy here. Tech 9, what you fellas think?
Oh, Tech 9 was amazing. Tech 9 is the reason I've been sick. That's not the main reson, but
We
yeah,
waited out in
no,
the
Tech
rain.
9 gig was really good. Really, probably the best gig I've ever been to.
You're so sick.
I'm
Your
so
voice is
sick.
like, oh my god.
I'm so sick.
Like it's gonna be amazing to hear you back on this and see what it's like. You sound like a different person.
Literally got that sick, sexy voice. Yeah, because the Tech 9 gig was last Thursday, and then I went into work then the next day, last Friday, and I just had no voice at all. I had like 10 classes to teach and work, and at the start of every class, I was like, right, boys and girls, Andrew has no voice today. You've got to be really quiet and watching all the time.
Oh,
We
Jesus.
had no. Oh, it was so funny, but it was definitely worth it. As I said to you when you were asking me during the week, but it was
Yeah.
definitely worth it. It was a great gig.
It was Voodoo Lounge shithole.
Oh, Voodoo
But,
Lounge,
Oh, awful,
yeah,
awful
absolutely.
place.
Absolute crap hole.
Yeah.
I think it's
Truly
just,
shit.
it's one of those places that it's always been a shithole. Like even
Yeah.
back in the day, I gigged there fucking years ago, and it was again fucking
Bad, yeah.
sticky floor, expensive
Oh, I
drinks.
literally, I went home and my jeans and my hoodie went straight in the wash. The back of my hoodie was
Yeah.
like all sticky, and
Sure, I had beer spilt all over me that day. I had beer on
and
my
my
socks and
shoes as
shit.
well. I had a pair of Jordan 1s on, and I wouldn't mind. I put that crepe protect on them. About I think it was the day before the gig. I put some crepe protect on them, or it was the day of the gig, knowing that it was raining out as well, just to protect them. And I got home and the fucking state of them. No, but it's by other people's standards, they were probably fine. By my standards, they were not. And I had to fucking scrub the state of them. My hoodie was all sticky. My jeans, I was just like in the wash. As soon as I got home, they were fucking filthy. Yeah, Voodoo Lounge, absolute shithole.
Like
But-
halfway, because you know we were up the front, like halfway through the set list, I just felt liquid on the back of my jeans, like on the
Yeah.
right on on my two calves.
Yeah.
And like I didn't find out what it was. I don't know. I was like, that could have been anything. Someone could have huped on me. Someone
you
could have
got
spilled
you,
the
drink
you
drink.
got a drink spilled on you as well.
I got many drinks spilled on me. That guy who was beside you, nice guy,
I was a lovely guy.
just kept holding his beer over my head.
He was a spiller. He was a
Yeah,
spiller.
he was a big spiller, and he kept falling trying to get up the steps.
Yeah.
So it really,
There
really
was, I
fucked me up.
remember as well, because he kept getting really annoyed because he was kind of had one foot up on the step with his phone recording a good bit of it. But there was like 2 or 3 different guys at different points throughout the gig, like kept coming up with like proper like cameras. Coming up
Yeah.
and be like, oh, can I get in there? Can I get in there? Can I just get that at this angle, and can I just move you a little bit? And I just kept looking at them, and the other guy that was beside us, he kept looking. He's like, fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
they just kept trying to sneak and snake their way all the way up and be like, oh, I'm just going to take a picture. Can I just like put my leg up here? And can I just come in here? Because you were like right in front of me.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, can I just go up there? I was like, dude, there's no fucking room. Like, guy's in a wheelchair right there. And he's like, oh, shit, sorry. And then he's like up on one step. And then all of a sudden, like, he's trying to get a good picture and he falls, fucking kicked my leg. I turned around. I was like, he was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
get away from me now.
You're ruining it.
You're ruining it.
See, it's hard for like other fans. Do you know what I mean? As well, like there's, you know, you guys as musicians, if that's what we're calling you, you guys know the kind of stuff, what goes on behind the fucking scenes and everything else. Do you know what I mean? For someone who doesn't, who's just a fan of music, like that's like one of their heroes. I said this to you before. Like it's like Tech9 could be someone's fucking idol. Like there was guys behind me, like. Right, we were right up the front, so we were getting high fives and all the shit. Do you know what I mean? Fucking
got a selfie.
There was like people like 2-3 rows behind, like honestly, like trying their fucking hardest to get up to the fucking because like you can understand why, but at the same time, it's like you should have been at the gig early, bro. If you were that diehard fan that you're trying to get up, it's the excitement and everything else. But
it was a good night. It was just. I think it was because it was such a small, cramped gig, and especially when we had you with you, where there was no designated wheelchair section.
Yeah, and it was just a mosh pit.
It was literally just mosh, and there was people just pushing and shoving and everything, which is all well and good. It's
normal.
Fine.
That's concert.
It's fine for a normal gig, but when there's no kind of like designated wheelchair section, especially for yourself, the fucking chair is being pushed left, right, and center. And it's just it gets messy. You kind of get on edge then because like the two of us were kind of bouncing you for the whole night, like protecting you in the chair because people were sloppy and drunk and falling everywhere, and it's just like all it takes is one click, someone falls, slips on something wet that's on the floor that everybody's spilling, falls and fucking falls on you and breaks your leg. Like, so.
It's one of those in hindsight, probably shouldn't brought Carl up the front in the wheelchair. Do you know what I mean?
But totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, Carl had a great time. That's the main thing. You know, I had a fucking slip disc and my fucking bruises all over me.
I got a flu for the whole
week. You contracted a virus. I got another fucking list of muscle injuries to add to my fine collection, you know.
I got a selfie.
You
got in that stuff too. Bert Jordan just got left out because he was on the other side and couldn't get through.
I was holding the crowd of people off you two that were also trying to get in the fucking selfie with you fucking assholes. But no, absolutely, it was a great night. I have to say,
it was really good.
I'm glad we talked about it because we purposely didn't talk about it because Andrew wasn't here the last time. Just like, no wait, don't say anything. But no, I have to say, I'm not as a hardcore fan as you guys are of tech. I love his shit now, like it's fucking good. But I'd just be like a kind of more of a casual listener. Do you know what I mean? I like his albums and everything else, but. I was shocked though, like, because I always kind of suspected, like, I didn't want to say it and going into it. I'm just like, he could be a very overproduced motherfucker, like the way the songs are constructed and stuff. But like, no, I was just like, no, he has those bars. He can do all that shit live. Absolutely, no problem.
And credit to him as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen like a lot of videos, say on his Facebook or Instagram or whatever, if he's writing verses or pre-recording verses or whatever it is, and like. Sometimes they're edited, obviously, but like a lot of it is like him just going full blast at it. Like he can actually do those verses that you're hearing on the record. He can do them in one take or 2 takes. Like if he has Chris Calico to do his ad libs on 1 or 2 parts, as we all will run out of breath at some point. But like bar for bar, he can do those verses nearly on par.
Very quick. I don't know how they fucking do it, especially for an hour and a half, rapping that fucking quickly.
And especially for credit to him as well. The man's like 44, 45 years of
he's
age.
not a young guy.
I know he's not old, but he's not in the prime of his youth. I haven't got lung capacity like that. And fair play to him for being that physically fit
to do it,
to be able to do that, especially with the kind of energy he was bringing on stage, where like he wasn't just kind of like sitting there or walking up and down. Like he was bouncing up and down and dancing around the place and getting the crowd hyped while spitting at 275 miles an hour. Do you know that? It's fair play to him for having that kind of fitness level.
Yeah, real great night. Didn't appreciate the cold weather though.
Definitely did not appreciate the cold. It was
I escaped the flu. But no, escaped the flu. So
I got a touch of it, so I didn't fully escape.
Very cold.
So I suspect I will contract something off one of you two.
Yeah,
fucking
you're with us
dickheads.
all night, bro.
Great.
Right, so let's get into the real
real
stuff now. Jordan, you actually have questions listed down there, so
no, it's in for topics. I think it's. I know the questions I like to ask, I just wonder how do you even
Right.
construct
Well,
this story?
I think you should start it, Stoves.
Yeah.
Explain to people
Okay, so
getting
the whole topic at
cancer.
hand basically is the whole cancer story. For anybody who didn't or does not know, I was diagnosed with cancer myself in 2013. Uh,
How old were you?
I was 17. It was a month before I turned 18. It was in July. I turned 18 then that August. So I was diagnosed, went through chemo, two surgeries, one before, one after all the chemo, everything like that. It was just after we had finished school, so we had literally just done our leaving cert, went and got everything. Everything started happening. It was kind of a whole year of kind of practical ongoing stuff, and yeah, that's kind of the major bulk of it. As you talked about on your podcast topic about the disabled thing, it's obviously something that directly and indirectly it has changed and will forever in a day change your life. Exactly the same with me, even though I'm not living with stuff like that now and going through physical things like that now. It's something that's always kind of going to be there, that has kind of structured me into the person that I am, especially for it happening at kind of what I always look back on now as kind of a really critical and really impactful age, because like you always kind of hear of, a lot of people always think, oh, cancer, you get that when you're old.
Yeah.
Like arthritis, something like that.
Exactly. It's something that'll like kill you off at the end. Yeah.
Dementia, you get it when you're older. You hear of your nannies or granddads or uncles or, older uncles or like older people having cancer. It's very rare that kind of your first thought with cancer is like, oh yeah, younger people get cancer. Like the type that I had was specifically for younger people. So it's kind of a weird one when you think of that, like, yeah, okay, this is something that happens to young people, and then you might hear sometimes of kids having it, but I think it's a weird one because a lot of really, really young kids that probably are sick with that, it probably doesn't affect them in the same way that it would with certain age groups, because it just kind of, they don't understand the vast impact of it and exactly what's happening, and they're kind of growing up with their life, so it just kind of, they don't really think about it. Whereas I kind of look back on it, and I've been told by some people that it's kind of at a really impactful stage, especially when we left school. I was a month from turning 18. You're kind of being introduced into that like new bit of life. You're independent. You've left school. You're going to college or getting a job, or you can go out in nightclubs. You can go out partying. You've got that bit of freedom. You can start learning to drive or whatever it is, and to have that like taken away very, very quickly is a real it's a real impactful age, I think, in your teens. Obviously, I was in my later teens, so it's probably a really impactful thing to probably happen to teenagers specifically, because you're kind of finding yourself.
Like that specific cancer that I remember at the time that you'd got that, and I received a phone call from yourself. It was a common, like, it was at that time, I don't know if it was just me, but wasn't it a thing with like young, like healthy males especially, and it was around that knee area, wasn't it, that there was like a trend of that cancer? Because I think it was a friend of mine or someone, I definitely knew someone else that knew someone that was like literally the exact same cancer that you had, and in the same area. And I remember looking into it. I can't reference the research right now because drags, but fucking literally it was almost like a reoccurring thing of it's the same. It was either behind the knee or to the side of the knee of that particular tumor that you have.
It's a weird one.
It's fucking weird how the body works like that, though, isn't it? Like that fucking.
See, it's kind of like anything, I suppose. There's so many different variants to, like, people think of the standard, like your breast cancer, your bowel cancer,
brain,
that kind of thing. But like, there's a lot of probably really specific ones, like with yourself, with your own disabilities. Like, there's so many specific things. Like what I had was a form of bone cancer. It's called a Ewing sarcoma. But like, even in my instance, mine wasn't attached to my bone, but there was a girl who was going through treatment at the same time as me, and hers was attached to her bone. And she went through a lot more extensive stuff than I did. She had to have an Alizaroth, like yourself did at one point. I think she had to have 2 Alizaroths because it was attached to her bone. They had to remove part of her bone then on her leg. and then obviously that was weakening it, and she had to have it strengthened up, and then it became weaker then because of that. So it's probably it's weird like that it can just
Fucking strange, yeah.
bounce around. But even that in itself, like a Ewing sarcoma, is specifically a type of cancer that only really affects younger people, like teens, to kind
It
of.
must have been hard to deal with as a young person, just to, like, you probably never thought of it.
Yeah,
Like, you know, when you get older,
again,
you
like
might
it's
think,
one of those things
yeah.
you just old people get cancer. It's
Yeah.
never something that kind of comes onto your
Yeah,
radar, like a younger person is going to get cancer, especially. And I know it's a selfish thing to say, but I think you said it to me at one point. It's never something that you think is going to directly affect you in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
life,
It's
or
always
your,
the
or
story
your, or your
of the-
friends,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where, you know, we were all 17, 18, 19 years
Yeah.
of age, and all of a sudden one of us had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it
fresh
was.
out. It's a really weird
It was fucking
thing to
strange
have
as
to-
well, because you always, like, at that age especially, you're always thinking like, oh, the nannies and granddads, oh, it's brain or lungs,
Yeah.
or it's some or fucking bone cancer. That's
Yeah.
what gets everybody in the end, you know.
Yeah.
It was just I was shocked when you called me, like, fucking, I couldn't believe, like,
Yeah. It's not something that you just expect young people to get, or like anything like.
it was the last down to reality. But like,
Yeah, it's really
we
weird.
were all in Luke's gaff at the time. Shout out to Brendan, he's watching. But we were all drinking with the City West crew, and I remember coming downstairs just to break the news to everybody, because, you know, fucking, I knew you were gonna tell them anyway, but I was
Yeah.
just like, look, fucking, everyone was here. Might as well tell that as a group thing.
Yeah.
And like, I went in, broke the news, and it was just like all of us, like, literally with beers and fucking cigarettes in our hands at the time, like looking, like, literally everyone did the same thing, like, looked down, just like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like Andy's a healthy guy. Do you know what I mean? He's a fit guy. He was
was fit.
athletic.
The
Yeah.
healthiest of all of us,
Literally.
yeah.
I was
Never
like, we're here,
smoked,
fucking, yeah,
drinks,
exactly. Yeah.
exercised.
I was like, we're sipping beers and fucking smoking cigarettes, and this
Yeah.
poor fucker was hit with it. You know, it's crazy. It was just that fucking snap back to reality. That fucking. But it shows you can happen to fucking
I
anyone.
remember you telling me about everybody's reactions as well. It was just, I remember, like, obviously in hindsight I laugh at it, but it's just like everybody's reactions. Whereas some people were like start crying, and others were just staring at the wall or like
Yeah.
pacing.
It was
mad how you-
it was fucking it was mental. Like,
Yeah, it's mad how
you
you-
did it well though, because you're like, I'm gonna be okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
But like,
you calm
me down.
on the
Yeah.
phone.
Because just that split fucking second of when you're like, I have cancer.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. He's gonna
Yeah.
die. He's gonna die. I was
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
And then you're
it's
like, yeah, just relax. Like, I'm gonna be okay. It's blah blah blah.
I
Go
was
to
the
the doctor.
exact
Yeah.
same with my ma, because me and my, because obviously, like, the process of it was like, I went to the doctor privately with this lump on my leg.
Yeah.
Stupidly, they took it out first and then tested it instead of testing it and then taking
Then
it
taking
out.
it out. Yes.
But whatever. But so when I went back, then they took it out. I had staples in my leg then for, I think, a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Went back and then got the results. So me and my ma were there, and he sat down. He was like, "Yeah, you know, it's not what we thought it was going to be. It's, you know, it's this, that, and the other."
Yeah.
And I was just, it was a really weird, kind of surreal experience. You're just like instant. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, what do we do? You know,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? This, that,
Yeah.
and the
You
other.
took it like a fucking champ. That's
Yeah.
what. That
And
was
I
one of
think
my.
he was kind of looking at me like, okay, this kid obviously doesn't understand what's going on.
Well,
He's like,
yeah,
do-
he probably thought like he
was
doesn't
like-
understand
He's
the
like, do you
severity.
understand like what this means?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's cancer. Like you said that it's a tumor. You have to do chemo, this, that, and the other. Like, what do we have to do? This, that, and the other. And my ma's kind of looking at me like I was sitting here, and my ma was beside me to my right, and she's kind of looking at me. She's like, Andrew, do you understand what this means? I was like, yeah, I do. Like, he says cancer. Like, we just got to get on with it. Like, and she's
That's
kind of
the
looking
right
at
way to
me
think
like,
of it, though.
what? And we, you know, continued on the conversation and whatever. And he said, you know, that's going to happen and whatever. Yeah, okay. I'm leaving the hospital, walking down, paying for the parking, whatever.
Yeah.
Getting out to the car, we get in the car, and my ma just starts bawling, my baby, like starts falling crying. I'm like, I just turned to her in the car. I was like, will you give over crying? I was like, he didn't say I was going to die. Like,
That's a.
and she's kind of looking at me like,
That's a fucking crazy reaction, man. I was fucking crying when you told me that shit. I was
so
like,
was
oh,
she.
no.
But I was like, what are you crying for? I said, he didn't say I was going to die. I'm going to be fine. And you know what? He said what's going to happen, this, that, and the
Didn't
other.
say you were not gonna die.
But like, she's looking at me like, what? Ring your dad. Like, please just ring your dad. Ring your dad. Ring your dad. And I rang my dad.
God.
I told him, or my mum, I told her, whatever it was. And my dad was like, okay. Okay. I was like, I'm not going to die. Like, it's grand.
What I'm gonna die. Like, what you moaning about? Like,
literally, I was like,
there's not a bunch of fucking drama queens crying and
what are
all.
you
Jesus
crying for? I
Christ.
was like, what are you crying for?
Hey, that's weird because that was one of my questions because you were a fucking champ throughout. Like, you always had the brave face. Like, I said it to you before. Like, I felt like an asshole after your chemo. I couldn't come visit you. You know me in hospitals and fucking. I can't do hospitals, hospices. I'm just like, no, get me the fuck out of here. And like, even at that, like, I found it so hard to visit you. I loved you, and I fucking missed you.
Like,
but like,
you,
it was like,
you had started McDonald's as well, and you were on
McBurger King, but
you were on all your
it's fine.
all your crazy shifts as well. So like, I wasn't.
No, yeah, but
wasn't
no,
getting
it was
annoyed
just
at that.
like you took it. That's why one of my questions was like, what did it ever like fully fucking get to you? Like the severity of what the fuck was going on?
Do you know what? Funny enough, right? It got to me. It clicked. It clicked with me one day. Like I'm sure, like some things click with a lot of people. It clicked with me. I'd say probably about a year and a half after everything.
Yeah, that's
finished.
what I thought. I remember that little phase that you'd went through, and that like,
I was on autopilot from day one, and
just get me
it
fucking through
did
this.
not
Yeah.
click with me. I was sitting. I don't know what it was. What I was even doing. I was probably just sitting at home, chilling, doing whatever. And all of a sudden, it clicked with me. I was like, "Shit, what the fuck has been going on the last like year and a half, 2 years? Kind of, I had this and this, that, and the other, and that was going on, and like I could have." I was going through this and this could have happened, and everything just kind of clicked and hit me like a fucking train out of nowhere. But it wasn't true. It was after everything had finished. It was like a year after everything was done, because you just kind of stay in that autopilot mode with a lot of things for a long time.
Yeah.
You see, you had a lot of shit going on there as well. I won't dwell into what you were going through, but like with whatever, like relationships and all your teenager fucking stuff. But like that at the time when you're fucking 16, 17, and you're like, oh my God, my girlfriend wants to leave me for someone else. Do you know what I mean? That's the end of the world. You had to deal with that whilst you had a fucking tumor in your fucking leg. Do you know what I mean? Going through fucking radio fucking therapy.
Yeah.
I'd say fucking a lot. The room's starting to hit me here. fucking. Yeah, shout out to our we tried to take the label off. You'll see it there, but
they outsmarted us because they put the name in
Engraved
the
it on the
glass.
glass.
for fuck's sake, like,
Geniuses.
So
Geniuses.
well done, Captain. You did it.
you did it. Now we're living
Hats
like
off
the
to the
captain.
captain.
Yeah, if you're watching this and fucking Club Zero, like who the fuck even drinks Club anymore? Like for fuck's sake.
Fucking losers like us, I
Pretty
guess.
fucking
Not
hard.
going off riff there, but yeah, no. For you to experience like the normal day-to-day teenage shit,
Yeah.
I think that's what caught up with you, like after you were okay. Because I never forget I think, well, not kind of like the penny drop thing, but like just when everything just got fucking so much for you and stuff like that. I was just like, holy shit. Like, I can expect it. Like I get upset when fucking Liverpool does on the TV. Do you know what I mean?
And it was one of those things that I probably, like, for a long, long time, I didn't even get upset about it.
Yeah.
That kind of, it didn't hit me because I stayed in that kind of survival mode and just kept going, and it didn't upset me. It just, until it got to a point where I was like,
Until the threat was gone. You couldn't
Right.
let yourself.
Yeah, it's like your body just went, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
exactly,
'Cause, like,
exactly that.
your body, as you said, with the autopilot mode, literally went, right, cancer, this is bad. What do we need to do to get rid of it? It's like survival mode. It's literally just, and you just go, okay. It was like, it was like that. I'm not sure. It probably didn't feel for you, like getting like chemo and stuff. It probably was fucking hell getting it for you. But like that felt so quick to me, as in it was just like snap. And it's like, oh, chemo's done, and it's just like, what? Like you had cancer like 2 hours ago. What's going on? Do you know what I mean? And like, what was it like sitting through the fucking radio therapy?
The chemo's fucking rough, man.
Yeah.
It's really rough. Like, obviously, I can only speak from my own experience, and it's a kind of weird one, because I remember even my dad saying, it's like, you don't even think, like, what exactly is chemotherapy?
Yeah.
Is it a tablet? Is it a pill? Is
Yeah,
it,
you-
you
Well,
you
you
don't,
like-
didn't
you
know
don't
until
give
you
it that,
seen it.
but you don't give it that kind of thought. But it's I always described it as just like a potion, because I think depending on kind of what kind of treatment you need, depending on the kind of sickness that you have, you might need different types of this. So there's probably say 50 different drugs that can go into combinations of different types of chemo that you might need. So it's fucking rough. Like, it affects you in every single physical way possible. Like, it's a roller coaster of it, right? It's a great drug.
Yeah.
Fuck the heroin and the weed and the cocaine.
Is there any highs off it for scientific purposes?
No, not any highs off it.
Just lows.
Off of all of the the steroids and the anti-sickness and the painkillers that you need to be on because of it. Yes, you
absolutely.
get quite a
Yeah.
lot of highs. No, it's a roller coaster. Like you get bone pain, you get muscle pain. You obviously like the standard, your hair falls out, and I always find it funny. Like even now talking about it, like I was only talking about it with one of my friends there a little while ago, about like even just hair loss. Like people think, oh yeah, your hair and your head falls out. All of your hair falls out.
It was the
Everywhere.
eyebrows.
Like you lose your head hair, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your arm, your leg hair, your pubic hair, your asshole hair. you lose every hair follicle imaginable, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
The most irritating one, and it's a lot of people kind of wouldn't really think of it. The most irritating one, like functionally, is actually your eyelashes. Because
so you got a lot in your eye.
Your eyelashes, obviously everybody, like your eyelashes, you blink all throughout the day. It filters dirt, keeps dirt out of your eyes. But when you don't have eyelashes, then the dirt is obviously getting into your eyes. There's no way to get it out. But your eyelids actually stick together. They get really, really sticky. And they stick together. And it's really fucking irritating because your eyes get really, really dry then. So you get really itchy eyes, and you can't. It's actually, I'd be waking up some mornings and like you're like, I can't open my eyes. Like you actually physically can't open your, because they're just stuck together. So that was probably like functionally that was the most irritating one. Obviously you kind of get to deal with everything else, like no arm hair and leg hair, like that's not a big deal. You know, fucking head hair, you put a fucking hat on your head. The eyebrows is the kind of, I think the eyebrows is kind of, especially for a man, I think the eyebrows is kind of the staple, like, oh, he's sick. You know, because many men, I'm fucking still bald to this day.
But
you know,
fine
as a man, being bald is okay because you can pull off being bald. As a woman, maybe not so much. But women who are going through that kind of treatment generally will get a wig.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So they'll have a wig for their own self-confidence and everything like that.
Man, if I went through it, I'd probably get a wig. I love it.
But like the
and
eyebrows,
I suppose girls can like draw it in their eyebrows.
Well. But the eyebrows are kind of, I think, the staple kind of, oh, he's sick look.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
If people see me now with no hair on my head, even if I was to shave off my beard, they wouldn't go. They wouldn't go, oh, he's sick. But if you see someone with no eyebrows, you're like, oh, he's sick. You know, so it's kind of the staple thing. The eyebrows are definitely the staple thing. Like, oh yeah, he's definitely sick. The functionality is the eyelashes because they're a fucking bastard.
Yeah,
they're really, really irritating.
Absolutely. Like, and even like appearance wise, it is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's really.
I remember you said to me recently that I think your mom put a photo up of you when you had like literally no hair in your body, your eyelashes and gone.
It was nuts.
Yeah, I remember you were just like, take that photo down. What the fuck is this? Like,
you don't look like you at all.
Really I always look at our depth. I look at our depth photos and I'm just like, I can't believe, like, because the changes like happened gradually. Like it was one time you're like, my hair's falling out, fellas, and then it was like, oh, my eyebrows are gone. There's like, oh, now I have no eyelashes. So we kind of had the transition. We seen you go through the fucking changes to where you were. But like to look at you now, like if you look at it, like if I see you in my head, and if I think about you when I'm sad and lonely and work and stuff, when I know Andy, the beard, you know, bald head, it's fucking there. But even with that, like if I come across all photos and stuff like that,
it's crazy.
I'm just like, holy,
there's a picture that
I
always see all the time at home, on the computer, and I think it's Christmas of that year. And I think it's just me like sitting in the living room or in my nanny's living room or something on the floor, and like that I'm just looking at it, and it's just like I'm real bloated, like my jawline is gone because my face got real like bloated and everything, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, look at this day to me, I look like a fucking alien.
So when you went into Tala Hospital, you did actually say this to me before. I did ask you the question. What was the like costing involved? You did the maths one day.
Yeah, it was quite extensive, to be honest. Obviously, like we had the private health insurance and everything like that. So I don't think that necessarily would have affected the price. Like I think if you don't have that, it's not like you have to then fork up the price and everything. But it's just the kind of speed that everything is done. But between like blood tests and scans and stays in the hospital and, you know, everything that was included with it, came to like 30,000-40,000. Like it was quite a lot. Like, so as I said, I don't think even if you didn't have the private health insurance, I think it's kind of the speed that everything will be done. So you get everything done so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
quite a lot. It's quite a lot of money to
Yeah.
have cancer.
Absolutely, but
I
if
just die.
if
I
it's the
just
case
die.
that it's terminal, like if you're like, and it's like, yep, you're going to die unless you get this done right now. You don't got private healthcare, you're fucked.
Big time. Oh, big time. Because I'd say there's probably loads of people that if they don't have it, like anything, like if you're waiting for any kind of appointment, you're sorry, you're on a waiting list.
Yeah, if you're on a waiting list, if you're still alive in 2 years, good for you.
You might get pushed forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Ahead of like people who might just need, standard MRIs or CTs or this, that, or the other. They might try and slot you in somewhere, but like at the end of the day, you're going on a waiting list. Like
Yeah, and
so
that could be
you could be waiting a couple
difference,
months. Like that could be depending on the severity of your case. That could be the difference between whether you
live or die.
or you just live but get gradually worse. Like if you're like, yeah, I know even in myself, like I had my tumor on my leg for well over a year before I even got it tested, and it made like it wasn't affecting me in that year. Now obviously I was lucky in that kind of sense, but there's a lot of people that if your tumor is very, very aggressive in that kind of way, it would naturally progress and get worse. So if you're in that kind of situation where you're waiting and waiting, your case could be getting worse as you're waiting.
What made you decide to go and get your lump checked? Because that's all it was for you.
Yeah, it was weird because it was it was funny. I had it all through 6th year. I had it for, I think it kind of popped up on my leg around October. Would have been October 2012. And then I got it checked then July 2013. The main reason I didn't get it checked was because it wasn't really doing anything. It wasn't sore. It wasn't getting bigger. It wasn't in the way. It wasn't getting at me. It was kind of like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, why is that there? And as weeks and months were going on, I was like, that thing still isn't going down. And I'd be saying it to my man and dad or whatever. Like, that fucking lump on my leg, that's still not going down. And whatever it was. And so eventually I probably said it towards kind of the actual time, said it to my mum and dad. I was like, here, that lump's still not going down. Like, it's not sore or anything, but it's just not going. So my mum was like, we'll go and get it checked after your leaving cert. Like, once your exams are all over, we'll go and get it checked and see what the story is with it. So it was when we did that we then found out, like, but it could be like you could be, I was lucky in that kind of sense, because some people will be in that situation where you could have it and it could be getting progressively worse. Like if it gets into your blood, once it gets into your blood, it's going throughout your whole body. It goes throughout your whole body. Fucked, like. So I was kind of lucky in that kind of sense that it didn't kind of travel anywhere else, and that it didn't progressively get worse as I had it. But some people it probably could. Yeah, so
fucking good. I apologize if I'm being rude, if like, because I know people, if they're looking at me on the video, they're gonna be like, "This fucking asshole." Like, I don't make a lot of eye contact, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm just like fixing little bits audio. I'm working audio here, guys. And there's a dog snoring around her feet, so that's why if you see me pat the floor, I'm not fucking crazy.
Yeah. My adorable little dog is ruining our fucking podcast.
It is, but no, apologies. But now that the costing involved, it's fucking crazy.
It's extensive. It's
in fairness to you did fucking well there, because I know a lot of lads that just don't go to the doctor ever. Yeah. Like, just like, well, it's just like, probably should go get that checked, bro. I'm just like,
yeah, it's grand. It's whatever.
I'm still alive, am I not?
For now.
No, I'm a bit of a, like, if I start feeling something, I'm like, I gotta go straight to the doctor.
After,
do you know what?
It's
funny.
like,
absolutely, yeah.
I've had loads of my mates will have said that to me, like, over the years. It's just like, they get really paranoid and they get really freaked out if they ever feel like a little lump or something that kind of shouldn't be there. Yeah. And they're always giving it's in a funny way, but they're always giving out. It's like, you fucking have me paranoid. You and your fucking
turn me to a hypochondriac.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but if that's what it takes, it keeps people keeps you on your toes.
It's a good little message.
Keep
that
yourself
you have there.
It's good to look after yourself.
Because as I said earlier, like, it's especially, obviously not everybody's going to get it, but it's something in that kind of way that you think old people are going to get. You're going to get it and you're going to die from it when you're much older.
So why even check now?
So what's the point in even checking? But when you have a friend who is the same age as you and has had it and gone through it, you're just kind of like, okay, maybe I should check just in case, that kind of way. So credit to them if I help people become a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
Fair fucks. Yeah. I think this is the most mature fucking podcast we've ever done in our whole
Definitely,
lives.
Notice that I'm not doing a lot of speaking because
that's what I was like. I was like, you finally get the fucking video set up. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So stop being so quiet, Carl.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well,
ask
this
some
is
He
a-
questions.
keeps asking all the questions that I'm like about to say. He's like, oh shit.
I know. I've always wanted to ask you because we've never gone into this level of detail as like a friends. We've never
Yeah.
got like we've always kind of.
Which is actually really weird
Yeah,
because
I think it was kind of just because you were so okay with it at the time, the way you
Yeah.
were dealing with it. Well, obviously you had the little aftermath and stuff, but like at the time it was kind of like, well, Andy's being strong, so we kind of it
Everybody
was
else
just kind of
kind
like, right, this is happening, so let's just go along with him and until it's all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like, let's just get to the end of the fucking tunnel, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very. That's why I wanted to do a podcast like this. Same way I wanted to do one with Carl. I'll probably revisit your one because,
you were
Yeah.
highly
you
intoxicated.
were really
I was
fucking bad
really
on that.
fucked up.
But yeah, no, it's I just had all the not even questions. I've asked you most of the stuff on it, but it's just like fucking. I always think like, what was he thinking during that? That's a sort
Yeah.
of way because like it's life altering shit.
Yeah,
Like it's fucking
frame
crazy.
of mind throughout
Yeah.
everything was
Uh,
is a big
did-
thing, I suppose.
What do you think now? Like, if you could go back, are you happy with having cancer? Would you keep it
Yeah,
the way your
100%.
life is now?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people always kind of say, "Oh, no regrets," and I don't regret anything, and this, that, and the other. But with everything that I went through, and I suppose I always was like, everything happens for a reason. Whether it's good or bad or a situation or somewhere you go, every single thing happens for a reason, and there's always a positive with a negative and vice versa. So no matter what happens, it will always balance it out in the end. So me going through such a bad thing for such a long period of time, yeah, it sucks and it's really shit. And I had to go through a lot of stuff over the last kind of 5-6 years, but you get to a point eventually, and it makes you kind of a stronger person. It makes you a better person. It gives you a better kind of frame of mind or a better kind of outlook for not even just life, but just how you are as a person and the kind of the things you value or whatever it is. So no, I definitely wouldn't go back in time. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't get rid of it. I wouldn't do anything
yeah, you
differently.
see, it built the kind of person who you are today. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. So not to be, it's always going to be a part of you, but
Yeah, it is though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Like I couldn't for 1 second imagine the kind of person I would be right here, right now, if I didn't go through it.
Yeah, me neither.
Like what would have happened? I would.
Jesus, yeah.
What kind of person would I be at
Yeah,
all? Like
well,
obviously I'd have a
well,
luscious
yeah.
head of hair, but like what kind of?
No offense.
like,
I've seen
it's-
Mr. Stobie. Your days are numbered. Anyway, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, but yeah,
That's
no,
very
bro.
true.
Fucking yeah. See, I'm lucky. I don't know how, because I'm a very hairy person, as you both know, and usually it's just like when you have like that level of testosterone, your hair goes, but like you're just hairy everywhere else. So I think I'm on borrowed time right now, fellas. That's why I'm like, am I gonna bleach my hair again? I don't think so. I think I've only
Maybe
got
just
like,
maybe I'll keep it.
yeah,
Maybe I'll save it.
Yeah, it's like I think I only have like one bleach left in this shit.
Yeah, I've stopped wearing as many hats because I've noticed a lot of hair coming out of my hats. Like, maybe I'll just leave it. For
that's
a
a-
while.
that's a
You're
real
fine. You
thing.
don't have to worry
Yeah.
about it now.
That's honestly a real thing. I've seen it. Like even David Dobrik on his vlogs. Remember he used to wear that fucking black hat, the paparazzi hat. He always
Yeah.
used to, just a normal black hat.
Yeah.
But even he was saying, he was like, my hairline's receding. Yeah, it's just like, and Jason was just like, yes, because you always wear that fucking hat. You never take it off. But you can noticeably, like, I'm starting to see it. Like it's starting to happen. Like I don't know if there's science to that. We do have Google to check that, but I just.
But we're probably not going.
It's not relevant.
It's like an urban myth now. Watch it. Hair does not recede due
Yeah.
to hats now. But no. I think my last question for myself, anyway, I don't know if Carl has anything to ask you on it. It's just kind of like, do you think, how do you think you deal with it nowadays? I know I'm not saying that the world is that much of a different place than it was to when it was going through now, but not to reference the snowflake era and the everything else that's going on, but just with the way social media is so bad and fucking everything you see, people document their fucking journeys of cancer and stuff like that. In hindsight, would you wish like you did something like that? Like people do like the day one of chemotherapy,
Yeah,
or do you think it's better to deal with it kind of just
I don't know.
by yourself? I suppose it's different for everybody,
Yeah, it kind of
but
depends, I suppose, on the kind of personality you are. I've always kind of been an inward person. So I wouldn't be kind of putting myself on a lot of people all the time in that kind of way. So, probably No, I don't. If I was going through it now, probably wouldn't. Or if I was to go back and someone say, "Oh, why don't you document
Yeah.
it?" Possibly not, because I kind of look at it now. I'm kind of happy that I didn't, because even in myself now, if I even see a picture of myself when I was sick, I'm like, get that out of my sight. So if I
Kill it
had
with fire.
if I had 9 months worth of pictures on a daily basis
Yeah.
or a weekly basis of that kind of stuff, I wouldn't want to look at it. That kind of way. As much as I kind of admire myself and hold myself pride on what I did and what I went through,
You don't want to get
it's
brought back to it.
it's constantly in my mind anyway. I don't need things there every single day all the time to constantly remind me, because as many people have said to me, at some point you have to put it behind you. You cannot keep reminding you cannot keep having it there every single day and constantly reminding you, especially if it's in such a negative way as like, oh, looking at daily progress pictures or something like that, what you say, or daily vlogs, or that kind of thing. So like even in some little things like that, if I see an old picture of myself, or if I think back to even a memory, even if it's a fun memory or a good memory that of around that time, I think, oh yeah, I was sick at that. Or if I think of a place, I'll be like, oh yeah, I went there. So it's not that it's bad that you have memories of stuff like that, but it's enough to kind of have memories and thoughts and things there of those times.
Yeah.
It's probably better not to have so much stuff of such a bad time, because you're never going to let it go.
Yeah, you'll
You're
never get
always,
over it.
You're always going to want to keep something there to be like, oh yeah, I have that and I have this and I have that. So maybe not as many material things. Now I have tattooed, my very, very first tattoo was my ribbon on my chest. Now I do have that, obviously. Again, that's there forever. I can't get rid of that. But it's I kind of have it there, and I when I look at it, I don't feel kind of a lot of sadness. I kind of look at it and go, yeah, okay, that's there. That's that's what happened. That's what I went through. Better times. But no, I don't think I probably would kind of do anything differently in that kind of way. But again, each to their own. Some people who might want to document it, and each to their own. That's same way with like the way I made a joke about everything. Like I took it in my stride and kind of tunnel visioned everything, but I used humor and entertainment value around it to kind of brighten the situation a bit. Some people probably wouldn't like doing that. Some people would rather sit in their house and cry about it for 9 months.
Yeah, well, it's the classic. If you don't cry, if you don't laugh, you cry. Kind
Do you know
of
what I
thing.
mean? And if that's what they want to do, I would never discredit anybody for dealing with it in their own personal way. Because some people maybe that might be listening to this going, what the, like how could you speak to your ma that way after being diagnosed, and how could you say that?
Don't worry, I'll get in trouble for a question that I've asked. I always get fucking slated.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's probably some people out there like, how could you be like that, and how it's such a horrible thing. And full disclosure, cancer is not a great thing. No. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. I'm not saying that.
Would not recommend to a friend.
I'm not promoting it. It's a terrible thing. But if you hop on the bandwagon at the time, if you're going through it and you're like, fuck it, I'm not gonna sit in my room and be mopey and bring everybody in my life down at this sad, depressing time. Anyway, I'm going to provide a bit of light and a bit of humor. Well, then all the credit to you. We used to laugh and joke about it all the time and I have probably a lot more entertaining, funny memories of a bad thing than necessarily bad things, because I suppose with anything, eventually over time, you regress all the bad memories. You push them back to the back of your mind because you don't want to think about them, because why would you? They're bad things. So you kind of, on a subconscious level, you try and forget about them. You don't want to think about them. And a lot of times some people might say, oh, do you remember that when you were, and we're like, no, I actually don't remember that, because I've regressed it so much in my mind because I don't want to think about it. But if you say to me, oh, do you remember all the times you used to come up and I used to sit there stroking your head saying I can look like into the future because your head is as smooth as a baby's bum.
He was also like baby smooth, so I got a bit weird and I just kind of like rubbed his arm. I was like, wow.
So
memories like a Siamese cat.
Memories like that, I think are just they're much better. They're much better to have
Yeah.
fun, positive memories about a bad situation
Yeah.
than to be sitting
And
there
I
kind of
think-
crying about it all the time.
I think it's important as well that you did have positives, because if you were just moping and, you know, taking it sad, like the
What-
chemo is going to get you down
100%.
without you
Yeah.
adding
That's
to
one
it.
thing I always
so
said
it's
as well. It's
important to
like-
get yourself
Like,
positive.
you have zero energy in any way, shape, and form when you're on chemo. It is a physical drainer. So, you know, it's bad enough that it's physically dragging you down and you can't always do a lot of stuff anyway. The last thing you need is to give into that, you know,
Yeah.
all the time. Whether it's something so simple, like I remember many, many times, you know, coming home from the hospital, say on the Friday, and Saturday morning I go up to the square or Liffey Valley or Blanchardstown with my mum or dad, or, you know, go for a walk down to the village with someone, or, you know, stroll down to your house or whatever it is. Like, I'd rather do that and be struggling with it than sit at home and do absolutely nothing. I remember coming to this house one day, and I think it was like a week after one session or something, and it literally took me 2 hours to get here. Like, full disclosure, it takes me about half an hour to walk from my house to your house.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's crazy
You know,
that it
if
took
I'm
you.
if like it's not that far, and I'm quite a fast walker. It took me like 2 hours to walk here because I was so
Being so
drained.
drained.
And I remember you ringing me, just like, dude, where the hell are you? And like,
I was checking on you.
I'm just at McDonald's, man. I'll be there in a little while. You know, but you know, it's better to do that because, yeah, hey, that filled in 2 hours of my day.
Yeah.
It took me 2 hours to get down here, but it's better than sitting in my room for 2 hours. Like,
Exactly.
at least I was going somewhere for 2 hours.
Just to clarify, I was ringing because I was concerned. I was like, yo, man, where the fuck are you? And where's that fucking Happy Meal that I asked for?
Where's my food? I'm starving.
You always pull this shit. You're always late when I want a double cheese.
Lazy
yo.
bastard. Will you hurry up? Like, get the bus or something.
Yeah, I think you're dead right in that sense of like you're kind of making the jokes out of it and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's more for what I've seen with people with I know a few people with cancer who had cancer have gone through it. It's more like the kind of making the humor thing out of it. It is for other people as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what made me very comfortable with it because I've had like my granddad's died from cancer
Yeah.
and stuff. I'm not a cancer fan. Well, no one's a cancer fan, but you know what I mean. But like,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
very
it is
uncomf-
because a lot of people, as you said earlier, a lot of people will kind of act in themselves and reciprocate how they act by how the person who's going through it is acting.
Yeah.
So if they're like, because I was always laughing and joking about it and being really strong, the people around me were laughing and joking about it, and they were eventually joining in on the jokes that I was making and making their own jokes, like you were saying,
Exactly.
you know, if laughing about things. So, and I think, especially for the person that's going through it, when you're making those jokes and then other people are laughing along with you and making jokes back, and you can kind of have that air around you
Yeah.
where people are not kind of stepping on eggshells, afraid of what to say, it makes you feel so much more comfortable because you're like, oh, well, people aren't afraid of, oh, I might upset Andrew by saying this, that, or the other. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck that you have cancer. Go up and get the coffee, like, you know, that kind of
Exactly.
something simple like that. Don't be a lazy bastard. Like, I don't care that you're out of the hospital 2 days. Go up and fucking get the Happy Meal. Or whatever. Walk down. Like, I'm not giving you a lift. Like, I think it's much, for me anyway, it was better to have people kind of act that way because
Yeah.
it's like, all right, okay, I'm not taking it in such a big
Yeah.
deal in those kind of ways. Other people aren't easier, so
kind
it's
of have to
easier
respond
for
to
you to
your
deal.
kind
Yeah.
of thing on it because there was no point mollycoddling.
No.
like yeah, because it makes you just feel
Especially
even
me,
fucking
because
worse.
I'm so black and white. Like, there
Yeah.
is no in between. Like, I am one way or the other. So, but in the opposite end of the scale, then there were, I know I probably didn't pick up on it a lot of the time because there was probably some people who at certain times probably tried to hide it, but like, not everybody was always then happy and great. And, you know, there probably was a lot of sad times for people individually when they were on their own or when I wasn't around, that
Yeah.
they were very upset about it, that they just didn't want me to see, so they waited until I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way. Like, I know my mum and dad said that they would have talked about it when I was obviously in the hospital or if I wasn't there. And, you know, they would have been very upset about it naturally because their son is going through it.
Fun fact, I actually wrote a song for you at the time when you're going through your chemo, when I was going through that guitar singer-songwriter phase. And I remember like recorded half of it. And it was like, I'll be there for you no matter what, you know. I'm gonna make this true, bro. And as I was back to it, I was like, yeah, he'll just stop being my fucking friend. He'll be just like, oh shit, I wish the cancer will fucking kill me after this fucking shit, yeah. But yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, people probably had, I don't know obviously just to what extent, but people probably had their own little kind of their own way of dealing with it in themselves without it being without me being surrounded by them. They kind of dealt with it in their own way, and that's perfectly fine. But I dealt with it in my own way, and
and I think it did. It made you into the person you are today.
Definitely.
There. Yeah, the only thing that kind of haunts me at night, thinking of like if I was in that situation or anybody else, like imagine fucking, you know, your mom and dad are going to play the brave face and be like, you know, it's okay, we'll make this true and blah blah blah. But imagine those conversations when you're not there, you know, that type of way, like fucking when you're just like, okay, see you later, assholes, and you're going out to us. And they're just like, oh fuck, that's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? That's my little boy. He's got cancer. Like.
You know, so it's probably those conversations that obviously I'll never know. What happened or what was said or anything like that. And to be honest, I probably don't want to know.
No, not at all. But it's just.
But I understand that
shit does go on. Like, it's
definitely
fucking crazy.
It can't not. Because like it would have gone on, especially with me, even in my own head, like thinking at some points like, right, what am I going to do? What's this? You know, what's happening? This, that, and the other. And especially afterwards, like the aftermath of everything was so surreal that, you know, I became a completely different person for a very, very long time. So yeah, it's a really weird one. That kind of during, like post, pre, during, and after. Yeah. Kind of different stages to it. They're all so different in their own unique aspects.
Yeah.
But
it's as you said, like you did become a different person because of that autopilot, and then getting off it made you a different person from that.
Yeah, big time.
Any traumatic, you gotta learn and you just keep going. But look, at
you dealt with it fantastically.
At the end of the day, you're here. You're still here today. Do you know what I mean?
I think I always kind of look back at it now, and I feel like I dealt with everything like that was physically happening at the time.
Yeah,
very, very well. The post, not at all. I think I lost myself a big time. I think it breaks. Like I've always said it. I know it's going to sound, again, full disclosure, cancer is not a good thing. I'm not promoting chemo, but I would do 9 months of chemo all over again.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to deal with the aftermath.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Because it's a toll. It's a toll on the hashtag mental health. It's not fun. Now I don't know again if it's, as I said earlier, if it would happen at different points in your life, maybe it would be different. But for me, at the point in my life that it happened at, the aftermath and everything like that was horrific. So I would have, going back to the question you said earlier, if you could go back and do it all again, I probably would do it all again if someone told me you wouldn't have to deal with
repercussions of what happens.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
That's a big word for a drunk Jordan right now.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I would do all the 9 months of it again if someone told me you wouldn't have to deal with the repercussions.
But look, you've did it. You're still here today. And I want to ask you actually. Oh, sorry, do you want to ask a question?
I was just going to ask, how long has it been now that you're
it will be
cancer-free?
In April. I'm going to check for the fans.
We're getting the dates.
We're getting facts.
We have the technology.
The first fact on the podcast comes now.
Pretty sure I have the exact date here.
I'm a poor fucking drink, so you know.
Yeah, I've fucking been sipping slow.
Problem with the setup is that it's fucking there's lights and camera tripods and
there's eyes on us.
And the ice machine is over there, and I can't get to it because you guys are here.
So
we used to move around all the time when it was just the mics. But like, back in a second. Now it's like, no, I'll just wait till the camera's off before I go.
Monday, the 29th of April, my last ever appointment.
Fuck.
I've got bloods and to meet with my doctor that day, and that will be from, I think it was not the exact day. Probably would be in and around the exact kind of weekend that I finished 5 years ago. So it's been 5 years because I started in July of 2019 or 2013, sorry, and then would have finished in April 2014.
Yeah.
So this April will be the 5th year Could you pour that any slower?
Would you like, an egg timer for that fucking pour? Jesus fucking Christ.
I really like the sound of it.
But yeah, no, and you're doing a skydive for that year.
Yes, I am. I'm doing a skydive.
Sweet. Have you chosen a charity that you might do it for, or are you doing it, or is you
I'm
just
kind
doing it
of,
for
to be
yourself?
honest, I'm kind of just doing it for myself, really.
Yeah, that's cool as well.
It's always kind of been something that I've thought, oh yeah, that'd be great crack. So I literally, I rang them a little while ago. I have it booked for the Saturday. So like my appointment is on the Monday and I'm doing it that Saturday.
Sweet.
So I'm literally doing it the next weekend. So that'll be like my kind of goal, my 5-year goal.
Yeah.
That but it's been kind of it'd be 6 years from this July. It'd be 6 years that I was diagnosed, which is fucking crazy.
It's mad to think it's been that long. Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, I know
crazy.
I know this band that's looking for a sponsor that you might want to get in touch with. You can raise some money for them.
Because they need it.
Big time.
We promise we wouldn't push this.
Yeah.
Have you got any other questions, Carl? Or Jordan?
No,
I think
I think
we're good for the cancer one. Thanks for that,
Yeah,
Andy.
no
I really
problem.
appreciate that.
No problem.
Before we let you go, I just have a couple of notes here just to ask there, just let people know what's going on. We have some guests coming up, fellas.
We
do.
We do.
It's not all about us anymore.
New faces, new people, another microphone.
Another 2 microphones.
that's
Yeah.
more
We're not sharing.
More microphones. More. There won't be sharing next time.
No way.
You didn't like us sharing?
No, I don't like sharing.
Okay, cool.
You've got cooties.
Okay.
The last time I shared
New
with you, I
update.
got cancer.
I won't be.
Carl will not
I
be-
won't be here for the
You
next
won't be here
podcast.
for the next podcast. No, we have my wonderful cousin Luke O'Halloran. You know this podcast so fucking small time, and you're like, I'm gonna get my cousin on, my daddy, the guy who cleans my windows. But no, he's great. He's a musician. He's working over in London at the moment, so really looking forward to having you on, dude. We were talking to the girls from Popcorn Dust. Shout out to Popcorn Dust.
Yep.
As forever, because it's my fucking podcast, and I'll shout Popcorn Dust and
We're
everyone.
going to shout them out when they come on, too.
Oh, absolutely! I'll shout them out when
Shut
they're
up,
here.
popcorn dust. They're right there.
I'm really looking forward to that one. So hopefully we'll have those on soon. We will have Luke on next week, going to plan, and the week after that we will have our main man Connor Farrell. He's going to come on. Shout out to you, Connor.
Farrell.
Love you.
He's so excited for the podcast.
Yeah, that's it. I'm dying to have him. He's got a good story of his musical journey.
Yeah,
you know?
he seems like a real musical story kind of man.
That's it. Well, fellas, this concludes the end of our first video podcast.
podcast.
Sorry,
First
Carl, if I
professional
felt I
podcast.
could have asked all your questions.
It's
I
okay,
apologize.
man. I'm just as long as we got the answers. That was the
Yeah,
important
that was
thing.
my thing. That's it. Well, cheers to that,
Yeah.
fellas.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Oh, that sounded cool.
Yeah, it was really good. Love that up to the mic. Guys, enjoy
Yes.
the rest of your week. We'll be back with more stuff. Please like and subscribe. And, tell your friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye.